got a commitment coming in for 2024. I think that's first and foremost, since that is actual concrete reality news and not speculation or what might have been in terms of one Preston Ries, 48th rated athlete, the athlete category out of the state of Iowa.
Yeah, Monticello. So, when I hear Monticello, first of all, I'm an Iowa guy born and raised. When I hear the word the town Monticello, I think Great Jones County Fair. It's a big, big deal. Usually county fairs, nobody cares about them. But state of Iowa and Eastern Iowa, it's kind of like their state fair. I know they've got – I looked at the lineup. When he committed, I looked at the lineup for this year, and they've got I want to say I'm gonna grab – I know this isn't football-related, Mark, but are you a country fan? Have we talked music on here? I know you brought up
music. Am I a country music fan?
You like Elvis. I know you're an Elvis and you're a Johnny Cash fan. You like Johnny Cash. You like
Johnny Yes, I do
Cash.
like Johnny Cash. And what's funny is that's a loaded question because I cannot name you new country artists,
sure.
But because of certain connections I have, friends and other relationships, there has been a lot of new country music introduced to me, and I got to admit, I like most of it.
But yeah, so let me read you the lineup for the Great Jones County Fair, because this is what I think of when I think of Monticello. Hank Williams, you know who Hank Williams is, Mark.
Certainly
of course,
do.
You know who Hank Williams Jr. is. So he's going to be there this year. Brothers Osborne, Lee Bryce, Lady A, formerly Lady Antebellum, Blanco Brown, Uncle Cracker, Tracy Bird. Some pretty big names there. I know a lot of Iowa fans may be scared to admit it, but there's a lot of Iowa fans who are country fans. So Monticello is where you want to be if you're a country music fan in late July, 21st through the 24th, I believe. So, but yeah, so Preston Ries, let's get to football. Preston Ries, he is, somebody commented, he's 200 pounds. He's a little guy. I mean, he's a sophomore. And I mean, you can ask Don Patterson this. Back in the day, you didn't offer sophomores in high school, Mark. That was unheard of. So times have changed, and I do have a lot of faith in Seth Wallace, who I'm sure has been big in evaluating some of these, because they got some pretty good defensive players, specifically linebackers, coming in here 23-24. If you're going to offer a kid that early in the process, you probably are pretty sold on the fact that he's going to grow into a pretty darn good recruit. He's got the height. I think he's listed at 6'3". Who knows if he keeps growing? You can always, you never really know. I mean, I think you can transition from tight end to linebacker and vice versa pretty easily. So he's got 2 more years. Yeah, he's listed as an athlete. I think he's probably projected more so as a linebacker at Iowa. But I will say that he's got some growing to do. Now, when you watch him too, this is the other part about it. And I've said this about other recruits. I brought it up about Aaron Graves, who is a man-child up at Southeast Valley, who, by the way, we can talk about this in a second. He just got his associate's degree. He's not even out of high school yet. So that's pretty incredible. That kid's going to be ridiculous on and off the field once he gets to Iowa this fall. But as it relates to Ries, he plays in a really he plays at a very, I don't want to say a weak level of high school football, but Monticello, I don't know if they're 2A. I'd have to confirm that. But it's hard to evaluate when you're going up against so much lesser competition. But one thing I brought up on my video earlier this week on my channel is that he exercises incredible patience for a high school linebacker. And maybe I'm not a high school sports fanatic, but when I watch recruits on tape, that's something that stood out about Ries, is he does exercise incredible patience. So, one guy that kind of makes me reflect back is Josie Jewell, who to me just seemed like the most calculated linebacker Iowa's had under Kirk Ferentz. And very physical, really good athlete. Obviously, he's had a nice pro career, dealt with some injuries, but very patient. And I'm not saying Jack Campbell or Seth Benson are not, but I like that about Ries at this age. He's a sophomore, so that's a good sign. He's also a quarterback. No surprise there. When you go to small school, the best athlete's going to play probably the most important position. I don't foresee him taking snaps at quarterback at Iowa, but I do find this interesting. It seems like Iowa's had, unless I'm just missing something, more than your normal guys who have played quarterback at the high school level. Like Alex Mota's coming in. who will be here next year. He's a dual threat quarterback at Marion. You've got, Ries coming in. I believe there's one more. I mean, it just seems like they've got more quarterbacks on the roster. And I said that about Moda. And you could argue about Ries if he ends up playing offense. I don't think he will, but if he were to, it gives you some flexibility, right? I mean, if we want Iowa to be more innovative, and I'm not saying you throw a bunch of trick plays out there, but like having Marvin McNutt, a former lefty quarterback, I always thought Iowa kind of underutilized him in the backfield. Like, why not throw a double pass with Marvin McNutt? And maybe they did, and I'm just forgetting, but the opportunity's there for some of these former quarterbacks. I think you could probably run something for them because they know how to throw football.
Your rival is the one that does that turns linebackers into quarterbacks.
Right. Exactly. And we're going to be talking, you're talking about Iowa State.
I am. Joel Lanning.
Yeah, Joel Lanning. And Joel Lanning, let's be honest, is he in the NFL now? Did he make it?
It's a good question. I'll look him up. When I see that athlete designation, before you outlined it, I was going to ask, is he a defensive back or wide receiver at the next level? Well, of course, as you mentioned, this is going all the way out to 24. So there's a lot of growth and development there to determine where he's going to be best placed. But it's a tight end linebacker. You don't see that combination. You see that combination at the high school level a lot. But I mean, in regards to a prospect that they categorize as an athlete, usually 90% of the time, that athlete category is DB wide receiver.